Trump played them, but his family is about to get extremely, extremely wealthy. The top 1% are going to become so wealthy, it is going to absolutely blow your mind over the next 3 years. He did play them, and I'm going to explain how he used stablecoins and Bitcoin as the US dollar was in an absolute free fall. On this channel, this is not about hype. This is not about hopium. This is not about price predictions. This is setting up your family with an infrastructure that will survive deflation, inflation, in any economic cycle. What you don't need right now is the next best crypto. You need a system and understand how macro and microeconomics work. Trump completely played him. He left the White House, a dollar guy, to crypto. And then all of a sudden, in 2023, boom, Larry Fink, Jamie Dimon started to change his tune, and Trump came back and ran as the crypto capital of the world. We went from Bitcoin conference 2023, anti-government, decentralization, to everybody cheering for all the government officials at the Bitcoin conference in 2024. As you look this way, there's always another narrative going on this way. Now, Trump did save the US dollar, and I'm going to show you how he did that through stablecoins. But pay attention. The reverse carry trade is extremely important. Japan's been at low interest rates for a very, very long time. And because their currency was collapsing, their economy was collapsing, they had to raise rates. Here's the reality. They're at 500% debt to income ratio. China's at 300% debt to income ratio. And America is at 120% debt to income ratio. So guess what they can do? They can lower interest rates and print as much money as humanly possible for a long time. But what you're trained as an American is to save your money in the dollar. That has collapsed 96 to 97%. So there will be winners, there will be losers. It will appear over the next 3 years that the US economy is booming because the middle class is monetizing more debt. But at the end of this, you're going to be on the debt side of the interest, or you're going to be on the earning side of the interest. And the elites are positioning themselves for the biggest financial transition in history. So I'm going to show you the facts, figures, numbers, logic, and then I'm going to show you how I, with full authenticity and full transparency, how number one, I beat inflation. Number two, I've protected my family's wealth. And number three, I love red markets. I love red markets. That's where you become wealthy. Okay, so let's dive right in. So the first thing is I'm the repeat guy. I show you the same things over and over again because what you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. The greatest compliment somebody can get is you say the same thing every single day. That is a compliment. Imagine if I was changing my narrative every 5 seconds. That's how you become poor. You become wealthy by repeating the same things over and over and over again and making small incremental changes. So we're first going to watch the Russian parliament, once again, where they talk about how Trump is sucking up all the US debt into stablecoins, okay, into the crypto cloud. And I'm going to show you the facts, figures, numbers, logic on how they're doing it.
The United States is now trying to rewrite the rules of the gold and cryptocurrency markets. Remember the size of its debt, $35 trillion. Essentially, crypto and gold are the two alternatives to the traditional global currency system. Washington's actions in this area clearly highlight one of its main goals. It urgently wants to address the declining trust in the dollar. The United States, as it did in the 1930s and 1970s, will be solving its financial problems at the expense of the entire world, this time by shepherding everyone into the crypto cloud. Over time, once part of the US national debt is converted into stablecoins, Washington will devalue that debt. One more time in simple words. They have a $35 trillion currency debt. They'll move it into the crypto cloud, devalue it, and start from scratch. That's the reality for those who love crypto so much.
Okay. So what does that mean? Well, let's go a little bit further in this. Okay, this was posted by DW News. I highly recommend you go watch this. It's the ideology behind U.S. policy on crypto and digital money. This just came out a couple days ago, I think, if I'm looking at this correctly. Okay, so we're going to watch minute 10:43 to the back end of it and listen to what they say about crypto and stable coins. And then I'm going to show you what they're actually doing, the Trump administration, okay? Now remember, Howard Lutnick, write that down, go study Cantor. Okay, you got Bo Hines. He is now the CEO of Tether, USAT, which used to be a foreign stablecoin, which is now in America, which runs 90% of the stablecoin market. Stablecoins use 60% treasuries. Guys, I position myself non-emotionally. I don't care what you invest in, but you got to understand there's a reason why silver is skyrocketing, guys. There's a reason why elites are stacking Bitcoin. This is not a game anymore. You have to financially educate yourself on this. You have to understand macro and microeconomics. You got to stop waiting for price predictions and saviors. It does not work. It will ruin your portfolio. You have to build a system.
One significant proposal, however, is already in action. One of President Trump's first executive orders in January 2025 made the United States the only country to halt all work on developing a central bank-issued digital currency, a CBDC.
The US is clearly going for a private sector solution rather than a public sector solution.
Okay, so that's really important to the narrative that I'm going to break down for you guys and how I position myself. Okay, so Trump came in. They were all heading towards a CBDC. Trump comes in and signs to stop the CBDC. He's bringing the public and private sector together. That's your first hint. Okay, there's going to be a ton of growth in the economy. Okay, so that will help you position yourself correctly. He is Reaganomics on steroids. Reagan deregulated, lowered interest rates, cooled inflation, and then pumped the markets. Okay, the markets are going to go up, but there's always an inverse to this, guys. So as you navigate to 2029 and 2030, you better be positioned in things you believe are going to be here. So when we do have a big market collapse, you are in companies, in assets that will survive the collapse. And when it collapses, you buy more. That's how you become wealthy. Okay, so keep paying attention to what she's about to say.
So alongside support for stablecoins, they also have a anti-CBDC act. So Europe and China have been innovating with central bank digital currencies, where central banks really are at the core of innovation for the future of payments.
Other central bankers are worried. The European Central Bank repeatedly issued warnings in 2025.
Stablecoins are privately issued. And
that's key right there. Stablecoins are privately issued. And I'm going to show you. Trump has the fastest growing stablecoin through World Liberty Financial. The Trump boys are running and the Witkoff boys are running. Steve Witkoff, Trump are connected in the White House. The dads are writing the rules. Howard Lutnick, Steve Witkoff, and Trump. They stepped out of all the companies. The boys are running the companies, guys. Follow the thing. Christine Lagarde, the European Union, the ECB president, this lady right here, they're freaking out because they're like, oh my gosh, this is decentralized.
Notably pose risks to monetary policy and financial stability. These assets are not always able to maintain their fixed value, compromising their...
What about the dollar? Think about it. It's printed money.
Usefulness as a means of payment and a store of value.
And even China, the US's main rival, is seeing significant inflows of dollars through stablecoins.
See?
The access.
Trump trumped everybody. They're seeing huge inflows in stablecoins. Well, what did Trump do? He pulled USAT into America, USD1. We have RLUSD because what do stablecoins use? US treasuries. He saved the dollar from collapsing for a moment in time. Okay. You can't just keep monetizing debt. The dollar at some point, or fiat currency, let's take out the dollar. Fiat currency that is not backed by anything will be worthless at some point, and somebody will be caught holding the tulips. Study market cycles. Study Ray Dalio. Get your emotion out of it. Okay. The market please listen to me. Market does not care about your feelings. It doesn't care if your family can eat or not. It does not care. It is absolutely ruthless. Somebody will be holding, comment down below what I mean by that. Someone will be holding the tulips at some point. This is not our grandparents and our parents' economy.
Dollar payments in parts of emerging markets was beginning to retreat. Now stablecoins deal with a lot of those issues. They can be accessed by anybody. We also believe that China is potentially less able to compete as effectively in a stablecoin world because its capital account is more managed, because there is less RMB in the offshore universe.
The United States comes well prepared for this battlefield of money, strengthening the dominance of the dollar. Wielding the private power of stablecoin companies is very much in the spirit of the administration's masterminds, and they will continue to deny publicly backstopping this new money through a lender of last resort function. Until the moment arrives when it has to be there.
Okay. Till the moment arrives. That was a key part right there. Okay. So what our government's going to do is they're going to keep printing, buying bonds, stable coins, use 60% short-term treasuries. They're going to print, stable coins buy, we get wealthier and what, but at some point, guys, you can't keep doing that. That's where the Russian parliament, I think it was the Russian parliament, where he's talking about they're going to suck all the debt up into the stable coin, into the crypto cloud. So how are they positioning themselves? So USD1 is part of World Liberty Financial. This is a stable coin. Okay, so you got USD1, which is part of World Liberty Financial. WLFI is my top 3 holding now. This is the decentralized bank. This would be a stable coin. It's backed 1-to-1 by the US dollar. Okay, a stable coin is just a stable coin. It's not an investment. It's if I sold profit in WFI, I could store it in USD1, right? The key though is to understand this. USAT, where Bo Hines was the executive director for digital assets for Trump, he steps down all of a sudden and then boom, pops off and grabs Tether and brings it into America, which is 90% of the stablecoin market, the number one stablecoin in the world. Trump trumped all of them. USD1, the fastest growing stablecoin in 2025, they go grab Tether, they bring it into America. And the lady just said, people in China are using stablecoins. Stablecoins, let me read it to you right here from the horse's mouth, dollars that move without intermediaries. Did you hear what Christine Lagarde said? It's a threat to the monetary system. It's a threat to them. That's what it's a threat is, because it doesn't have to go through a centralized party. Tether introduces USAT, which is an American stablecoin, a dollar-backed stablecoin designed for the internet age. Spend, send, and receive money instantly right from your phone. No intermediaries required, pure freedom. This is the new system, guys. I have a huge company called 3T Warrior Academy. It's worldwide. I could start my own bank in stablecoin. We used to run banks. We know how to scale banks. We could literally start a 3T Warrior Academy bank. We could create our own stablecoin. Anybody can do this now. This is the systematic threat to the actual system. And that's why I believe companies like Ripple with their stablecoin, this is Monica Long talking about stablecoins. I think we've gotten the point around stablecoins, but it's so important what Ripple is doing, guys. Ripple is becoming a bank. Kraken's going to become a bank. Coinbase is going to become a bank. Uphold will become a bank. Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America will become crypto banks. Everybody will have a stablecoin. What they're doing is they're making us look this way because they have to join the system this way. That's what Christine Lagarde is saying in so many words, is that you and I can transact with each other now. We don't need a centralized party. Okay, so that's the stablecoin narrative. Okay, then you got to really understand what's happening. You know, if you like Trump, you don't like Trump, it doesn't matter your feelings. If you like Bitcoin, you don't like Bitcoin, it doesn't matter your feelings. You like XRP, you don't like XRP, it doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about your arguments on Twitter. It doesn't care about your deep analysis of it. What it cares about is what the big money is doing and how the game is changing. And this is what they're doing. Trump Media adds 451 Bitcoin, total BTC holdings surpassing 1 billion. And Trump Media just made a huge merger as well, going into Fusion Energy. I think it's Fusion Energy, which I'll be breaking that down in a couple of weeks here. I'm studying. I may be getting into Trump Media just due to what they just created on the stock side, a big energy deal. Anyway, so let's continue on. I'm going to bring these back up to you guys. Okay, so we got Strategy, the number one Bitcoin treasury in the world. Number 3 is 21 Capital. Remember, that is XXI. XXI is connected to Cantor. Okay, Howard Lutnick. Okay, then we got Trump Media is now number 11. So you got Strategy. BlackRock is the number 3 holder in Strategy. You got 21 Capital, XXI. Go study who the top 3 are in that one. If you look at Strategy now, JP Morgan is in the top holdings for MicroStrategies or Strategy, be a Bitcoin company. Got Trump Media number 11 and American Bitcoin, one of my top stock holdings, is climbing fast. Okay. When they first started a couple months ago in April, they were at 0 Bitcoin. They're at 5,098 Bitcoin. Okay. Strategies at 671,000. 21 Capital is at 43,000. And Trump Media is now at 11,000 Bitcoin. Okay. So Bitcoin is now representing the new gold. Stable coins save the US dollar for a moment in time, but you got to go deeper and study Ray Dalio, guys. You got to understand there's always a rise and fall of superpowers. There's a transition to an even playing field monetarily before you know it. Trump told you that. Okay. It is going to be an even, they can't stop it. You and I can transact with each other. So knowing that and knowing that everything in the system is debt. Okay. If you know that everything in the system is debt, China's at 300% debt to income ratio. America's at 120. Okay. Japan's at 500. So that means in the fiat systems, there's only debt. There's no emotion. You're either paying it or you're earning it. So that's why I created this system. It's called Capel DR. This is exactly how I run my system. I don't care what the price predictions are. I don't care what the dates are. I don't care what the riddlers say. I care, number one, on how to beat inflation. Number two is I look at the economic cycle and what is actually happening in the landscape and where is the actual big money moving, because I work hard for my money and you do too. So if I'm paid in someone else's debt, then why the hell would I save someone else's debt? Because when I save someone else's debt in my bank account, they take that debt and they monetize it. So I do that with my money. So when I get paid, I teach my daughter to do this, teach my son to do. I've taught 14,000 people worldwide do this. It's not an investment, it's a system. So I take my income and I turn it into cash flow. Okay. That's number one. You can do that through building businesses, side hustles. You can flip vacuums. You can flip things on free on Facebook Marketplace. You can create a side hustle. You can get a pay raise. You can do a sales job. But I take the income from my active income and I put it into 10% into dividends, which creates a brother or sister. Richard, all of you need to read the book, Richest Man in Babylon. Now I have income coming in from active businesses. I have income coming in from dividends, and I transfer income not into my bank account because it's going to get monetized. Banks make money in three ways: interest income, fee income, and capital markets income. So I go make money in capital markets and interest income. So I take my income, cash flow, and I move it into A, right over here, appreciating assets. I don't care what you use. You can plug anything into my system. I like things that have fixed supplies. My top two by a long shot are XRP and Bitcoin. To give you an example, I think it's 43% XRP and about 40% Bitcoin. That's the largest part. So it's about 83%. And then the percentages go down to WFI, Solana, XLM, HBAR, and VeChain, then little percentages of other ones that I'm going to consolidate. So my top three by a long shot would be XRP, Bitcoin, then it drops off pretty heavy and percentage-wise down to WFI relative to the top two. And we got Solana, HBAR, XLM, VeChain. Okay. On the stock side, my appreciating assets are American Bitcoin and XXI. I'm willing to watch paint dry on these. So how I position myself was what the economic shift is, watching what they're doing, how they're panicking, the Trump's moves making, the US dollar is deflating. So XRP is my bridge currency. Bitcoin is my gold. WFI is a speculative move into the new decentralized bank with the people writing the rules. Solana is a layer one. HBAR, same position. We got VeChain, supply chain management. XLM, bridge currency. So I feel pretty good with those. I don't need a ton of cryptos. I'm not trying to catch these small caps and make a couple percentages here. I'm looking for long-term, fundamental, guaranteed to be here. And on the stock side, I got American Bitcoin, which is the picks and shovels, and they have a mining Bitcoin treasury. So now I got the picks and shovels and access to the Bitcoin treasury, and then XXI, which is the number 3 Bitcoin treasury, which is connected to Howard Lutnick through Cantor. So I think I'm doing pretty good. That's just my position. So those are my assets. Now I've made a large amount of money off those assets over the last 5 years. So when those assets appreciate, because they go through cycles, you're just experiencing a cycle right now, guys. It's going to go back up at some point. Okay. When it goes up, I calmly pull profits on the way up. I don't sit there and watch stuff go up and go down. I pull some profits and I go into P, protection. I use cash value life insurance. We use it properly. We fund them. We structure them properly. They are not retirement policies. They are insurance policies. There's cost of insurance. So if they're not structured or funded properly, it's like putting regular gas in a Lamborghini. You have to fund these properly. You need to put money in them. That's how they work properly. Okay. So instead of storing large amounts of money in a bank, we store our larger amounts of money into insurance. Okay. And that protects my principal. So when you come collapsing down in the markets or the value of your dollar goes down, I have guaranteed principal that I can leverage against to richest man in Babylon. See, I did it twice on my cash flow. I created a brother or sister. On our insurance, we're creating a brother or sister. Then I leverage, which is L. You can do this with any asset class. Okay. L, I leverage when everybody's panicking and the markets come collapsing down. Boom, we take a loan from the insurance company, no liquidation risk, and you buy more cash flow and assets, and then you pay off the loan and you repeat the process. Wealthy people use debt to buy assets. The working class use debt to buy things that make them poor. There, again, I'm going to keep saying this. There's no emotion in it. You're earning interest or you're paying it. There's no real money in the system, guys. These are just tools. They're just mechanisms. And people get so tribal about XRP, so tribal about Bitcoin, so tribal about insurance. They're just tools. They're going to go up. They're going to go down. And when you're sitting there waiting for a price prediction or hopium, we're building empires. That's what you should do. You should build a system financially. You should build a system spiritually. You should build a system physically. And you should understand that this is nothing new under the sun. This is not a super cycle. This is not different. There's been 200 years of markets. There's been over 30 major market collapses. The first market collapse was tulips. Somebody will be holding the tulips at some point. So you have to stop doing blind leadership. Stop following people blindly. Don't just invest in stuff because I invested. What I'm trying to do is empower you and educate you, give you financial literacy so you can make informed decisions based on the economic cycle. Study Ray Dalio. Stop studying price predictions and hopium, guys. Get out of that. I study Ray Dalio, Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, Kathy Woods, Raoul Pal. I love his content. Robert Kiyosaki, and I just stick in those realms. I just watch videos and I study and I read their books and I just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. I do not watch price predictions. I don't watch hopium. The hypier they are, the more I'm turned off by it, because that's how I got wrecked. I've been there, done that. I've been open and transparent with you guys, and that's how I'm starting to build wealth. It works. Okay. Cash is not king. Cash flow is king. Assets that have fixed supplies that beat inflation are king. Protection, insurance is king. And using leverage to buy assets, not liabilities, is king. And the last is de-risk, 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 de-risk. When you're making some money, pull some money off the table and secure that shit. There's going to be feast. There's going to be famine. It's all in the Bible, guys. This is all biblical. It's all in the Bible. There's 50-year jubilees. There's 7-year Shemitahs. It is in the Bible. It is biblical. So we're here, guys. The next 3 years is going to be the most critical time of your life as the head of your household, women or men. And I would consider dialing the F in right now. That's what I'm doing. I have blinders on. I don't care about haters, trolls, comments. I am so locked in right now on God, family, and protection of my ecosystem at all costs. And I have systems physically, spiritually, and financially. And I am way too messed up myself to worry about any troll says. I got way too much stuff to worry about my family, what any negative comment says. If there's no truth, there's no response. Got so much work to do myself. So I hope we can rise together. Let's lock in. Let's dial this in. Okay. So I want to put this out there. I don't share it too much. I want to share all my free content. I share with you guys everything I do. But if you do want to come into our education program, down below in the description of my video on YouTube, we have a worldwide academy. We've helped 14,000 people with financial literacy. We don't invest people's crypto. We teach you how to manage your money, how to hit the button, how to think, how to invest, how to make decisions. It's education and financial literacy. So if you want to learn my Capital DR system, it is very close to being trademarked. It is going to change the financial world and how people think about investments. Down below, you can join, click the link. You can join to meet with my team to talk to them. Remember, we don't invest people's crypto. Don't send anybody your crypto pretending to be us. We don't invest people's money. Okay. And then in my social media platform, you can click the link. We also have the Freedom Conference, which is February 6th and 7th. The VIP did sell out and the general admission tickets are still available, or you can watch online to learn our Capital DR system. I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go.